Hi everyone, it's Maddie Brady. We're here to get real about mental health. Stay tuned for some great conversations with some very special guests. Hi everyone, welcome to Get Real. We are here with Johnny from the Always Sober brand, and you're here to tell your story.
For sure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. What I found super interesting about what you do is a lot of people we've talked to either have problems with drinking or have drank and just see no benefit moving forward with keeping alcohol in their life, but I've never spoke actually in my entire life to somebody who's never had a sip of alcohol, and that's Johnny.
Yeah, so I'm 23 years old. I've never drank, never smoked, never will, but I don't judge anybody who does. I just can't. I have a very addictive personality. So once I do something, I'm all into it. So I know if I drank, that would be it. I'd be done. Mm-hmm. And I have ADHD, OCD, so I'm very compulsive with things, back to the addictive personality. And growing up, I just never needed to have fun. I was always, the crazy kid. People thought I was the drunk one. Whenever I was at parties, people were like, there's no way this kid doesn't drink. Just because I've been so off the wall. I was like, I'll still play beer pong. I'll do it all. I just don't drink. Mm-hmm. And, when I was in probably 9th grade, going into 10th grade, that's when people started to really start drinking everything. And I was around it all, but I just knew in my mind, I'm like, this isn't the right thing to do. Thankfully, I grew up in a good household and everything. But once I saw people are kind of getting crazy, but I'm like, I'm already like that. I'm already crazy.
I don't need this.
Yeah, if I'm already with you like this, why do I need it? Mm-hmm. And I'm dancing, I'm doing everything with everybody else, but it's I just never needed alcohol to have fun. And then once 10th, 11th grade came, then the same thing. I just was, everybody knew me as a kid that wasn't going to drink. Mm-hmm. And and then 12th grade came, prom. They're like, oh, you're going to take a sip at prom? You got to drink after prom, right? I mean, that's what everybody does, don't they? And then I'm like, no. Prom came, didn't do it, But like I said, I'm still around it. I'm right all up in the mix. And then oh, well, you're not 21, so technically you're really not supposed to, Then 21 came, and I still didn't drink, and now I'm 23, and I'm still here.
I love it. How did you know that you had ADHD? When did you get that diagnosis?
Well, the ADHD was I think 5th grade. Mm-hmm. OCD is kind of just, it's not technically diagnosed, but it's
apparent.
It's in the mix, kind of. ADHD, OCD is kind of goes hand in hand in my opinion. But yeah, I've basically been crazy ever since I was born. Just off the walls and everything like that. And it's crazy because the same way that I am like that, you would think it's how didn't I slip up? I'm very sporadic, and it's I'll just do things off the cusp, and it's how haven't I just been forget it. Mm-hmm.
Do you think the OCD factor helped?
I think everything helped once I told myself I'm not going to do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't really think about the whole, I'm not going to lie, I didn't think about the whole addictive personality after I said I wasn't going to do it. I didn't realize, oh, I have an addictive personality, and this would be bad if I did it once I said I wasn't going to do it. So leading up to me not doing it, it was kind of just more it was just a lifestyle for me.
Wow, that's really impressive, and especially at such a young age.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. And, it's there was no good in it for me. Like I said, if I could already have fun, and people need it to have fun, that's what they say, or be outgoing. I was always outgoing, so sometimes, not that I feel guilty, but I'm I understand not everybody has the brain like me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
A lot of people feel they need it to have fun, or they need to be outgoing. And I was just born I feel always outgoing.
Yeah, that's a gift.
So, and I know that, people struggle with that, and it's that's why I'm trying to like make these videos and try to give like confidence to people so they believe in themselves. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, that would definitely eliminate the problem from the get-go if people weren't digesting it to begin with, consuming it from the get-go. I would love, I mean, you to be able to reach middle school kids, high school kids that are able to resist the peer pressure, because unfortunately at those ages, peer pressure is crippling. People put it on each other so hard, and also you're at an age where you don't really know yourself yet. You don't know so much about life. I mean, you're just starting out, so it's really easy to take other people's opinions, and unfortunately the fact of the matter is people who are always willing to give their opinion, give the advice, are normally the ones that shouldn't be. So it's really hard to resist peer pressure. What would you say to kids out there that are in the heat of it, where all their friends are pressuring them to take that first sip?
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. People ask me this all the time, and it's like, unless you're really in the situation, it's hard to like, you know, give advice. But I would say like, you just gotta be yourself. And it's like, even if you don't know who yourself is, you know, like some people, they don't even know who their self is, but it's like, just trust the process, and, you know, you don't want to be what everybody else wants to be. You want to be your own self, you know? Like, that's the thing. Like, growing up, I never wanted to be anybody else. I just wanted to be me.
That's great.
You know? And, like, I think that's what everybody else should do. It's like, you know, just because someone else is doing something, that doesn't mean you have to do it. And just like there's an example that I said on Jersey Jerry podcast, shout out Jersey Jerry. Like, my dad, he grew up with a dad until he was 13, and then he passed away, right? But my dad is such a great dad to me. So it's like, you know, he had his dad for those 13 years, but it's like the rest of his life he didn't have it. But he's such a great person, such a great dad to me. So it's like, just because, you know, your environment, or, you know, you might not have a certain path, doesn't mean that has to be your outcome, if that makes sense. So it's like, yeah, like you grow up sometimes around drugs, alcohol. That doesn't mean that has to be your outcome. You know, it's like, and it's just like, it's not a specific answer all the time. It's just, you just got to be yourself, you know, and, you know, you don't want to be anybody else.
That's a big thing with people with alcoholic parents, or something that they see that's a negative example that their parent is setting. Normally the kids go one of two ways. They either say, that's horrible, I don't want, they see the full effects, the negative effects of the substances, so they say, I'm absolutely never getting into that. Or they can go the route where they're following in the footsteps. They're exactly the same as everything. They resent it and hate it growing up, because sometimes they don't have the tools to get out of that life. But I mean, someone else that talks about it a lot publicly, Donald Trump, actually.
I heard that.
His brother was a horrible alcoholic, and in the midst of it, he never recovered. He ended up passing away from it. He always told his younger brother, do not take that first sip of alcohol, and he never did. And that's something that I wish we could get across and openly communicate about to the younger generation, because my mom and my dad, both of their parents, both their fathers, were terrible alcoholics. My mom's dad did get sober. My dad's dad passed away from it. And they did not really drink. My dad maybe had a beer with dinner, something like that. My mom maybe had a drink once a year at a party, a graduation party, something like that. So I never saw people consuming alcohol properly, but they also never really got into the negative effects. They just kind of said, alcohol is bad, don't do it. But I think if we were able to have more open communication with kids, with people, and really explains what can happen, and showing, I think, being examples, showing you can be cool, you can have friends, you can have a social life without it.
For sure.
That's something that's incredible.
Yeah, like if you don't start, you can't get addicted. You know?
Exactly.
And it's like, if you never start, you won't have a problem. And you're like, look, I'm not saying to people of age, you know, don't ever drink. I'm just saying people are doing it for the wrong reasons. People don't know why they're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, there's some people that could have a drink on the weekend and be fine, but there's others that can't. You know, and I know that I wouldn't be able to handle it. Mm-hmm. So that's why, one of the reasons why I never did it. But, like, you know, there's some people that are fine. Like, they could, you know, enjoy life and, you know, have a drink and don't end up in jail, you know, and that's okay, you know. But I just know, like, there's younger kids and it's like they're already starting to vape. Like, people are like 5th grade starting to vape already. It's like, what are we doing out here, you know?
It's so bad.
And it's like, I get it. Like, it's an addiction. Like, once they start, it's like hard to stop. You know, I get that. But it's like, we got to figure out why are we even starting anyway? You know?
Exactly.
So, like, that's why sometimes it's like, what I'm trying to do lately is like, a lot of my videos and a lot of the things I preach is about me. Like, subconsciously. Like, I'm not trying to all make it about me, but it's like, I got to make a way to spread the message where I'm like showing, like, to give more inspiration off of me rather than just saying, oh, look, I never drank, I never smoked, like, look at me. I'm trying to, like, see, like, look, this is how I did it, and if you can get inspiration from it, then it's great, you know. Like, I don't think I'm better than anybody because I never did it. I'm just trying to be the best person that I could be, you know.
100%. And that's a beautiful message.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I think too, same thing, alcohol's not the demon for most people.
Right.
There's a lot of people that can have great relationships with alcohol, and that's absolutely not what I'm trying to preach or push.
Right.
It's just for the people that are going to have a problem
100%.
with it, that are going to struggle with it. And when you do start drinking in high school, middle school, even some people, you really aren't having a cocktail at dinner, you're drinking to get drunk.
Yeah, for
sure. I think if people were able to resist that peer pressure and even have conversations with their parents, older siblings, other people, and just understand what they're doing a lot more, it would help, because I think too, people don't really question exactly what you said, why they're doing it. Why am I starting to vape? Why am I starting to smoke? What are the reasons behind this? Is it because I have peer pressure? Is it because I had a lot of trauma growing up and I'm trying to escape it? What feeling is it giving me that is making me so attracted to it? I mean, it's really hard to think about these things when you're so young, but it could save a lot of people, especially with the vaping. I mean, once you go down that rabbit hole, it is so difficult to quit. And why are you starting at 14, 15, 16, younger even sometimes?
Right. Yeah, because they see everybody else doing it. But it's like, how do they start, you know? It's like, it's just like a never-ending cycle unless you just put a stop to it.
And it's really the big companies that are pushing it down people's throat. Vapes were initially invented to help people quit. And now there's so many people who would have never touched a cigarette, never ever touched a cigarette, that are now out there vaping.
For sure. And then it leads them down to like vaping and drinking and smoking, and
it all goes together.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
all extremely hands in hand.
Yeah.
But when you got here, I asked you, so yesterday I had a great guest that came on that gave me this Goldie's Yuzu Spritz. That's very good. But I do enjoy having a non-alcoholic drink. You said you're not even into that.
Yeah, so I you know, a couple weeks ago I was at this thing, and you know, there was some non-alcoholic beverages, and I just didn't want to partake in it. I just get water on the rocks, you know.
You could trademark that.
Yeah, right. So basically, I don't know, right now I don't want to be something I'm not. You know what I mean? And it's like, for me right now, like, I don't know if it's triggering maybe, or I don't really know what the exact thing is right now. It's just like, if I'm at a party, right, and it's like everybody's drinking non-alcoholic stuff, right? I don't need to. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, then why do it? If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, nothing against it. It's just like, for me, it's like, and also it's like, what if I love it so much and then that's all I do?
Yeah.
You know, with my brain, you know, that's the truth. And people are like, oh, well, what about orange juice? Like, I get it, but it's like, you know, you never know. And it's like, you know, coming from someone that never drank, then to just start drinking non-alcoholic, is kind of like, maybe there's something there where, okay, that makes more sense. Rather than if you used to drink, then you're drinking non-alcoholic. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think there might be something there where it's like, why put myself even in that situation? Even though I get there's no alcohol, but I don't know. I just, some people need something to have in their hand.
I really like that you assess everything you do. That's really a tool that more people should have. I mean, I like it exactly like what you said. I did drink, didn't drink. Talked about it on other episodes. I was tired of having a Diet Coke in a kitty cup. Right. So I love that there's non-alcoholic options. Yeah, but for you, it doesn't fit the mold.
Yeah, for sure.
Fit
like
what you're doing.
I think for certain people, I think it's great. But like for me right now, at least, like I don't know. Am I saying I'm never gonna have it? No. I mean, maybe in the future, who knows? But like for me right now, it's like, I'm good. I don't want to. Like I said, I want to be something I'm not. Like, I don't want to just drink it to just like appease someone else. That's like, oh, like come on, like just do it, just be with the crowd. It's like, no, if I would have had that mindset, then I would have drank alcohol when I was 14 or whatever. It's like I made it this far with doing sticking to my gut, so I'm just gonna keep doing that the way I'm doing.
What do your parents think about you never getting into partying? I'm sure they're pretty happy, right?
It's funny. So partying in the sense of drinking and doing drugs and stuff, but I still party. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I want to make that clear. Like I party, but I just don't do the substances.
But they definitely have to have a sense of reassurance when you go out at night. They're not thinking you're gonna wake up on a curb in a hospital bed. Yeah, God knows where.
I think I balanced it out. I mean, because me not being crazy in the sense of drinking and doing drugs and stuff balanced out me being crazy just with ADHD at home, so it's kind of a, what do they say? It balances out kind of, but no, they're definitely, appreciative. And, once I was, like I said, like in 10th grade, they really realized or 11th grade, they're like, oh yeah, no, he's really not going to do it, and then they didn't have to worry, so I'm grateful for that they never had to worry about me in that sense. So, it's pretty cool. They definitely appreciate it, and they're supportive.
That's great. Yeah. I actually didn't get into drinking till I was 16, which was a little bit late. All my friends were already drinking, and I kind of had a similar thing where I kept saying, I'm not drinking till I'm an upperclassman. And I just made up this timeline in my head. And then the second I finished sophomore year, I started to drink a little bit throughout that summer, but really didn't get into it until junior year of high school. And then once I did, started to kind of go downhill, and then it was really when I was around 17 years old where it started to take a darker turn. But exactly what you're saying, I wish that I knew what I was getting myself into, and I wish I was able to evaluate, why am I doing this? Because I definitely, there's a million reasons I could sit here and talk about why I liked it, all of that, but at the end of the day, I was doing a lot of it for external validation. I think I got into a group that was extremely heavy drinkers and really put a lot of pressure on you to be drinking a lot. They liked the fact that you were drinking a lot. They didn't want you to be sitting there completely dead sober. It's a crowd that would have never accepted that. And I wish that I was able to sit there and say, hey, if people only want me sitting here drinking, maybe they're not good people. Maybe, and those just give you so many tools to be able to avoid really negative situations that end up impacting your life.
I think for me, like the groups that I was around, I think I was just so loud in the sense of I'm not drinking that just I overpowered everybody in the sense of like you keep trying, it's not gonna work. Like people used to try to like get me to drink all the time, try to like oh, it's just water, crazy stuff.
That's messed up.
Oh no, but
that's
messed up. I would never cave in. Like even like if I had a water and I put it down, that's it. I'm not picking it back up.
Yeah, absolutely. I get paranoid about stuff like that too. That made me think. I was on a date once, and the guy just kept incessantly telling me about, like, are you sure you don't want to drink? Are you sure you don't want to drink? And I told him I don't drink. Like, I don't drink. Why would I sit here and have a drink with you? And then he made a joke. He had a cup of wine, and he said, "Oh, it's just grape juice. Why don't you?" And it's, I mean, that was the last,
Right.
probably worst date of my life. I actually forgot about this date. I've talked about sober dating on other episodes. By far the worst date of my life. I wish at this point in my life I would have left.
Yeah.
But I didn't then, and I don't know why I didn't. Honestly, I don't think I had the self-confidence of what I have now to be able to say, you know what, you're a freaking loser, I'm leaving. But that is really scary that people would actually try to trick you into drinking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, where I'm from, it's pretty wild out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I always just stood my ground, you know what I mean? I'm Johnny Berry, and I'm not drinking.
That's great. That's great.
Sure.
So, in your hometown, do you feel like it's accepted now more? Do you feel like people are changing their minds around it? How does that impact?
As far as not drinking and stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
Because of me?
Yeah.
Oh, I think definitely, like, there's been situations where I've been at a setting and, like, or, like, if people been at my house and, like, they could drink, but they chose not to because they wanted to, like, respect me and my household and stuff. So I think that, you know, shout out to them. That's pretty cool. I think, you know, definitely not, I wouldn't say, like, immediate people, but I think there's definitely been people, whether it's, like, people on, you know, TikTok or know me from afar, know me close, that definitely maybe, like, thought, like, you know what, like, maybe, you know, I'll take it easy for a little bit because, like, they see what I'm doing, you know? But I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you can't force someone to do something. You know, it's like, if someone's going to drink, they're going to drink, you know? But also, by me, you know, being the way I am and trying to be inspirational and everything like that, maybe, you know, something could click in their mind that, you know, like, maybe I'd take it a little easier, you know, from now on. But, yeah, I just always, like, you know, trying to make sure everybody's safe around me, and, yeah.
At the end of the day, that's really, I think, all you can do and all you should do is be yourself.
For sure.
Show people that there is a life out there possible.
Yeah.
I mean, in my everyday life, I don't push this upon everyone. I don't even talk about it unless someone brought it up to me. If I had a very close friend or very close family member, I would talk to them.
Yeah.
But some random stranger, some random colleague, I'm not going to ever get into this or ever push it upon anyone. But I think I'm made it apparently clear that I am openly able to talk about it. If you have a problem, you can come to me and talk about it, but I'm never going to go out there preaching because honestly, it doesn't work. People are only ready when they're ready.
And also, like, with me, it's interesting because, like, I never been on the other side. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not claiming, like, oh, this is how you get sober. I don't know. I'm just, like I said, like, I'm just showing people, look, this is how I live my life, and hopefully you can get inspiration from me. You know what I mean? Like, but like, I never been on the other side, so I don't know how it feels. You know what I mean? I just know this is how, you know, I made it this far, and, you know, hopefully people can get inspiration from it.
Absolutely. I think, again, just the fact that you're out there living it every day and able to have that self-control is a message in itself. Do you feel like you take that into other areas of your life? Do you really assess everything you do before you do it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so. You know, I think it's funny because, yes, but also I'm just kind of just go. Like, it's like when people are trying to open the door and it's taking too long. It's like, I'm just going to run through the door. You know what I mean? We don't have time to try to, like, you know, fiddle faddle. It's like, just go, you know? So there's certain things where it's like, I maybe don't assess it, where I'm just like, just go. We'll figure it out, you know? And, you know, sometimes people around me are like, you know, they don't understand it, but they will one day. Like, one day, me doing those things where it's just like, go, it's going to work out in the long run.
Absolutely.
You know, and people might not understand it right now, but they will soon, you know.
I feel like you are a marketer's worst nightmare, because I feel like no one's tricking you. No one's pulling the sheets over your head that, oh, this product's the best, or use
for
this.
sure.
Because you're really going to think, is that actually going to benefit my life?
No, for sure.
Yes or no?
Yeah. No, I agree. That's funny. Yeah, I definitely agree. And it's like, I mean, most of the stuff that I either wear or buy is just always sober anyway. So, like, I don't even buy mostly other people's stuff. Like, I want to just, one day I want to just have it to where, like, all my clothes are always sober. everything, like everything I drink is my drink. Everything I eat, well, maybe not food, but like I want just everything to be like my own.
I love that. Yeah, that's great. I think today there's so many people pushing an agenda.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not saying one way or the other. Right. I'm not even getting into that. What I am saying is that a lot of people don't take the time to think about what is it that I'm actually getting into? Right. Why are these people pushing this? The same questions that you ask yourself with drinking. And a lot of people fall into just a whole identity. I think what it is people out there are really looking for an identity and something to feel like they're a part of something. So sometimes it's really easy to influence people into something and they don't even know what they're supporting or what they're into at all.
Yeah. When you say like want to be a part of something, I've had an instance where it's going to sound crazy, but like I don't even smoke a cigar, right? And I know like that really has nothing to do with being sober for most people, but maybe sometimes it does. But like, I've been around people and it's like they're all in a group and they're smoking a cigar. And it's like sometimes I'm like, man, that would be nice. Like, not that it'd be nice, but I'm like, that'd be kind of cool, just like chilling, like you're a part of something, But then I'm like, I know if I did that, then the next morning I had like 8,000 cigars and I just wouldn't stop. Like, that's how I am, you know what I mean? But then it's like, also I'm almost like, no, don't contradict yourself. It's like, you got to just be cool being yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it might be easier to I want to do what they're doing. I want to like chill, because I never had that. Like I don't drink coffee, I don't like smoke cigars. I don't do so it's like, people have this thing, like they'll wake up, drink coffee, read newspaper. Like, I don't have that thing. I'm just like, a bull in a china shop. Like, I'm just going, you know what I mean? So it's like, I just try to find that within my own self. Like, I hype myself up. I give myself own motivation. That's how I keep going forward in life. Like, people think it's cocky maybe, but it's like, if I wasn't like this, then I'd be sad. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's a good point. Yeah. Because people sometimes relate better to people that are sad, are struggling. It's something to grip onto. You can trauma bond, all of that. There's not a lot of people out there that are saying, I'm doing great, and I think that it is a positive influence that you can show people that it is possible to be yourself and be doing great.
Yeah, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I mean, like, my head is spinning 24/7, like, you know what I mean? But it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, you got no choice. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like, either you could just, be down and just give up, or you could try to be something in life. You know what I mean? Like, I have no choice. Like, with Always Sober, like, this is not my only hope, but like, this is it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I got to make it happen somehow, and it's like, I just gotta make it happen, I literally have no other choice. Like, this is my life kind of depends on it. Like, people, whether this is the truth or not, I just feel like it is. Like, people are depending on me, you know what I mean? And like, I'm taking one for the team, like, I don't know, it's just like, I gotta make it happen.
It's a great mindset to have, though, because you really can't give yourself a safety
net.
No,
for sure.
You can't give yourself a crutch because in your weakest of moments, you have to say, no, there's not a backup plan. I'm 100%. Doing this 100%. Yeah. And that's the only way you're going to get something done.
If I don't do it, who's going to do it, So
exactly.
I got to make it happen.
I love that. Where do you think that comes from? Do you feel like you've had that since you were born, or do you think it's something you developed?
I think I was always like, I always wanted to be something in life. Like, growing up, I always wanted to, be something. I think, though, like, definitely, like, when I was younger, I don't even like saying this, but, like, I didn't think I was smart, But, like, me hearing that now, I'm like, dude, what are you saying? You know what I mean? Because now I just feel like, over the years, I just feel like, like, no one could tell me anything, kind of. Like, for instance, in 9th grade, I had a 74 average. 10th grade, I had an 84. 11th grade, I had a 94. Even with school, like, I just figured it out. It's like, it was all a game, kind of. Like, I just kept on, like, bossing up, as they say, right? But I think it just comes from, like, people always thought I was crazy, kind of, like, throughout school, everything. Like, people just didn't understand me. And, like, I mean, rightfully so. I can understand it, I'm, like, 16 saying, like, oh, I'm going to do this, and people are like, what is this kid saying? You know what I mean? Like, oh, wait till he gets older, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, but then once I'm actually starting to do this stuff, then people are reaching out. Oh, I always knew you'd do it, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
You know? And it's like, look, I'm all for positivity. You know what I mean? I'm never going to knock positivity, but everybody wants a piece of the cake, but no one wants to help bake the pie.
I loved it.
You know what I'm saying?
Hit me in the gut when you said people would say, oh, wait till you get older.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
Why? Why
I don't want to wait. I want it
that
now.
Everyone, no, but saying like that you would get a reality check when you get older.
For sure.
Why is that?
I don't believe in reality.
Everyone likes to be like, oh, wait until they get to the real world. Wait till they get older. Why wouldn't they try to
uplift
enhance your dreams? Like, there's this young boy with extremely ambitious dreams. Why wouldn't they push you in that direction and say, hey kid, you know what, you can do anything.
I know
you can
why.
do anything, and you honestly can. And that's something I think I got really discouraged from a lot of people. And you really can do whatever you want, and you realize, I think at the end of the day, what helps me is you realize other people are doing it. Why couldn't I?
Yeah, for sure.
Why couldn't I?
Right, for sure.
I'm on the same planet. I have the same tools. I could do it too.
Right.
And I don't know why that isn't a more widespread message that there is a large part of the community that thinks, oh, wait till they get older. They're just going to have to be doing this or doing that instead. And they think that you're going to get hit hard by reality, but really you can create your own reality.
Yeah, I think it's because maybe those people never chase their dreams. You know what I mean? Like, people are scared. And it's like, you can't be scared. You just got to go for it.
And again, back to the loudest voices. I think the adults that, and it's sad that an adult would push this on a kid, but the adults that didn't achieve their dreams, that aren't happy with their lives, they're going to be the ones, hey, don't move to New York, don't do this, don't do that, just get a 9-to-5, do whatever you have to do, and they're the ones that are going to be speaking the loudest, when really most of the world's most intelligent people and that are really doing a lot of great things, they're not going to shove advice down your throat. You can go to them for advice, but normally they aren't. I see now there's a lot more positive influences on social media that are talking about, hey, you can be successful.
For sure.
You can do whatever you want, and I think that's great. But for a while, I feel like those weren't the people that were speaking up, because they don't need to be the loudest person in the room, and they don't need to prove themselves.
Yeah, you know, I always say this, like, when I was in high school, like, I was the voice for the kids that couldn't speak up. Like, people used to ask me to ask the teacher questions. Like, oh, raise your hand, ask for a pencil. You know what I mean? Like, because I was always so, like, you know, the life of the party, even when it wasn't a party. You know, like, I was always like the comedian, you know, everything like that. And it's like, I just like, you know, like, people look at me sometimes like, oh, I wish I could think like you. I wish I could be positive like you. But you got to realize how I had to get there, you know, and I'm still trying to get there, you know. It's like, it's not always perfect, right? But it's like, for me, it's like the other day, I was doing like some work on my website, and things weren't going right. I'm just like, I'm getting a little frustrated. It's like, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I'm talking. It's like, you just going to give up? You know what I mean? Like, this is it? Like, you're just going to give up? Or like, you got like, is that it? You know? It's like, no, it's like, you got to make it happen, you know? Even though things get frustrating and things like that, but it's like, what are you going to do? Just give up? No. So you just got to keep going.
Exactly. That's very much like a Goggins mindset right there, which I love. I think that's great. I think everything he says is fantastic.
Yeah.
How would you translate this onto children about not only just not drinking, but to be exactly yourself and to not give up on your dreams?
Great question. Let's see. I would just basically say, you know, listen to your own self. You know, you could take certain advice from other people, but don't listen too much, if that makes sense, to the wrong people. And sometimes you don't know who's right and who's wrong, you know? So I think at the end of the day, you just got to listen to your own self, listen to your heart, you know, listen to your mind, and you just got to try things. And, you know, you'll never know what the other option will be. So you just got to just go for it and hope for the best.
Absolutely. And I think back, when I didn't know who I was and I was struggling, I would take anyone's advice.
Right.
You're giving advice, I'm listening.
Right.
And now that I know who I am,
Right.
I love advice. I love
Right.
role models, but you have to realize who are the right people
Right.
and who are the wrong people.
Right.
And then even going back to the fact that you said, yeah, you weren't a straight A student. You weren't doing anything
Right.
like that in school. There needs to be people, the skill set you have and the tools you have are very uncommon. And there needs to be people doing different jobs.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs to be a neurosurgeon
Right.
or an engineer.
Yeah.
There needs to be people like you
Right.
that are really reinventing the wheel in other fields.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say this. I know there's like a lot of people that I know or maybe I don't know, right? And it's like they might not know what they want to do in life, but I think that deep down inside they do. They just don't know if it's possible. And I'm trying to give them that hope that, it is possible. It might take a day, it might take a year, it might take 10 years, but it's like, you won't know unless you try.
Exactly. And I feel like I've been at points in my life where I wanted to give up on my dreams.
Yeah.
And I thought, all right, time to hang the towel
Yeah.
and go do this or that I
Right.
didn't want to do. And it is possible
Right.
just to keep going. You just have to keep trying.
Yep.
And I think that's great. There are so many different fields, so many different things you can do.
Yep.
There aren't 5 jobs in the world.
Right.
And I think a lot of times when you're growing up, you think there are just a couple different paths, but there's so many.
Yeah. The only time you fail is if you give up. That's what I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much
problem. I
for
appreciate
coming
it.
on the podcast and getting real.
Yes,
Is
for
there
sure.
any closing words you want to give the audience?
Yeah. I might be the cook, but I'm really the chef. AlwaysSober.com.
Yeah, where can people find you?
Yeah. The Johnny Berry on TikTok, 15.7 thousand. Always Sober brand on Instagram, AlwaysSober.com for merch.
Love it. Thank you so much for coming on, Johnny.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in and getting real with us. Podcasts will be posted every other Wednesday on Spotify and YouTube. Please reach out via DM if you want to chat.